Have you ever considered if repeating exercises at the gym is really helping you? You'd better stop and think about it for a moment. So, let's go. There are things we need to distinguish, things we need to separate. When we talk about physical training, when we talk about physical activity, about sports, being conditioned means being prepared to perform a specific function, from tending your home garden to running a marathon. That's being conditioned to perform this function. Being an athlete means thinking about training, nutrition, discipline, sleep, rest, all linked to optimal performance in a specific function, be it playing soccer, volleyball, tennis, fighting, or any other sport out there. That's why we need to distinguish between a person who is conditioned and a person who is an athlete. They're two different things, and as much as people might not like it, they are different. Many people confuse hypertrophy work with strength training. They overlap, but they're not the same thing. Hypertrophy is a type of bodybuilding where I focus on what? I'm going to focus on increasing my muscle mass, and for that, it's repetition work. Of my muscle belly in contraction and repetition so that I can recruit this musculature and increase my muscle mass. That's one thing. When I talk about strength, I'm talking about capacity. You can see that a bodybuilder has a completely different body compared to an athlete. When you look at those strongest man competitors, those big guys, you can see that they're huge, but they don't have the same muscle definition. Why? Because the body demands different things, and when we talk about sports, that's exactly what we mean. We're talking about strength training, because strengths are specific characteristics for performing my function. Running faster, having a quicker start, changing direction, having better performance, having better endurance according to the sport that I practice. Therefore, my training is tailored to the sport I do. In other words, it doesn't mean that doing bench presses or pushing myself to lift 300 kilos on the leg press will make me a better athlete. When I talk about sport-specific strength training, what am I focusing on? I'm focusing on gaining running speed. I'm focusing on impact absorption. I'm talking about gaining endurance, whether it's core strength or cardiorespiratory endurance, or overall muscular endurance so I can run longer, sustain a fight longer, whether it's a standing fight or a ground fight. I'm talking about skills like speed, reaction time, motor coordination, and all these characteristics are encompassed in strength training when I talk about my athlete, when I talk about sports training. It's not necessarily about repeating loads, 3 sets, 5 sets, 6 sets, drop sets, bicep curls. These are bodybuilding things, not necessarily strength training. So let's understand, I can and should work on repetition exercises, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing hypertrophy work. And strength doesn't mean being hypertrophied. Strength is the ability to perform a certain function, whether it's running, jumping, playing ball, fighting, or jumping to score a point in volleyball, to dunk a basketball. These are different types of strength and skills that require different specific training, whether in intensity, endurance, or change of direction, each aligned with their activity. So there's no point in thinking that doing a bodybuilding exercise will necessarily enhance your sport, boost your running, improve your soccer, or any other sport. When we talk about specific strength training for your sport, each athlete, each person, each position, and each sport will have specific, different training. That's why there's a pressing need for you to have a strength coach, a physical educator, and a physiotherapist aligned with what? With your condition and your goal. Thanks.